What up?
Peace,
What up?
peace, peace, family. Peace, peace. Hey, we are live and direct for your EY Pele Movement program on this Sunday, man. I'm so excited. Hope everything's going well out there for you, Vibe Tribe. We're live and direct on the set one more time. And today's program, we're kicking it off as a spiritual journey. And you know how we do. It's all about elevating around here. If you're not elevating, then that means that it's not beneficial to you. So that means that you need to unsubscribe to that. Okay, so we're about sharing content that will help you to evolve, right? Again, I only teach from experience. I don't teach anything that I have not experienced. Okay, anything outside of that is speculation. Okay, and I can neither confirm nor deny certain things. So I learned how to just be quiet. I don't say anything about it. So I'm excited about our spiritual journey series. We just kicked it off this year in 2023. Hey, my brother's in the building. That's my brother right there, my biological brother. For those who do not know, that's actually his son. All right, so that's his father right there. So we're in the building, man. It's a family affair on this evening. Peace and blessings on Google. How you doing, my brother? Thank you so much for tuning in, man. We get ready to get it in. Get ready to
Oh,
get it in.
definitely.
So we're going to talk about our spiritual experiences on this evening because my nephew and I both, okay, we both have a religious background and we both have experienced things along the way in our spiritual journey from our adolescent years into our adulthood. So we're going to talk about these things on this evening. We're going to share these things. I'm also excited that my nephew even experienced us finding out what we actually are through African ancestry. We had our paternal reveal, and he was a part of that as well as my brother. We found out that we're Kele, and then our ancestors came from Gabon. So we was excited about that, man. All of us
Hmm.
experienced that, man. We just got so many experiences together that are good, man. My nephew and I had a wonderful dialogue last year, and we talked about his spiritual journey. So I just thought it was just befitting in order for us to have this family affair because, as we know, we have to return back to our roots. Okay, we have to go back and fetch that which we were cut off from, not lost. Okay, you can't misplace your culture. That to me it don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? You can't lose your culture, right? We were cut off from those things. And so, we both had our own wrestles and our own experiences. So tonight I brought my nephew on to be able to share his spiritual journey on this evening. How you doing, nephew? How you feeling this evening?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing, just fine. How about you, Uncle?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So, let's go ahead and kick this off, man. So, how did you start on your journey? What was your beginning? And tell us some things that you had experienced. From my understanding, you were once religious, and now that you're spiritual. So
Hmm.
please talk to us, man. Talk to us and tell us what actually had transpired that led you from religion to spirituality.
All right. So, first and foremost, I was kind of more like, how some people were like they grew up around the church, like they may not have gone every other Sunday or every Sunday. They went every, once in a while, and I would go to church on Sundays with my grandmother every once in a while. Every time my parents would bring me over, we would go over to church, and I didn't really mind church, but like, as a kid, it's kind of hard to pay attention to certain things most of the time. So we was there. I was primarily there for the food, majority of the time as a kid. They used to have this little service at the end and stuff, and all this little goodies and everything and whatnot. So years go by, and I'm like kind of wondering more of like, what do I serve? Do I actually, serve, the God that's in the Bible or,
Hmm.
whatnot? You know, um, I I had to question myself because I was experiencing things that were quote unquote taboo to
Hmm.
certain other in other religions and stuff,
Hmm.
and that was it was hindering me from what I was actually meant to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to figure it out by myself. Um, where my spiritual journey first began was a few years ago. A few years ago, I had a dream that I was coming back to this house, and I remember opening my door, and I remember like having trouble getting the key to unlock the door. And I look to my right, and there's this big black cat sitting right next to me on my right. I don't know how it got there or when it got there, but it was just there, and it opened its mouth as if like, not as if it was trying to eat me, but more of like of a roar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it scared the crap out of me. And I ran inside the house, and I locked the door, and I woke up, and that was it. But that's how I found out that was my spirit animal, a black jaguar, actually.
Hmm.
And if my information is right, the jaguar has the third strongest bite in the animal kingdom, or in
Mm-hmm.
felines, out the felines, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And one other part was I had a dream. I had a dream about Kali. Was it Kali or no? I'm sorry. Correction. It was Shiva. It was Shiva, and we were like in space or somewhere or something like that, and then she appeared out of nowhere, and she only hit me like one or two a few more times,
Mm-hmm.
but that's when I started actually physically feeling pain in my dreams.
Hmm.
See, I'm one of them type of people that, if something was to happen, or if I was to get, quote unquote shot or stabbed or physically harmed or anything like that, I would physically feel that in my dreams also.
Okay. So riddle me this. From those experiences that you
Hmm.
had, what did you gather from those experiences? And what I mean by that is, did you feel like you have been lied to? Do you feel like, like the things that you were taught, like, man, I've been deceived, I've been held back this whole time from me actually, evolving and actually being my higher self from those teachers that I was taught prior to me, actually relinquishing those teachers. And is that fair to say? Please talk to us about that.
Yeah, most definitely. I most definitely felt misguided and lied to. I was very confused in the very beginning of my spiritual journey because of the information being misled to me, and all the other stuff, because those teachings teach us to go against the things that we know that are actually, the things that are actually natural in the world today. And I'm sorry, what you about to say something?
No, you good, nephew. You could go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, like for example, like the Bible or whatever would say, like, you can do this, but if you do this, I'm gonna punish you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put this in front of you, but like if you obey me, or pretty much listen to your temptation, I'm gonna, send you to hell, quote unquote. That was
Mm-hmm.
one of my fears, was hell,
Mm.
was being
Me
sent to
too.
hell.
Yes.
And once
Yes.
I pretty much lost that fear, it was kind of more of like, okay, so what is life? What is reality? What is my reality? And that's what I had to ask myself, and I had to seek that myself, through all the
Mm.
dreams and all the other occurrences and all the
Mm-hmm.
supernatural experiences that I had in my lifetime. I had to really, let it settle in and be like, hey, like, is this really real? Is this my reality? And that's the one thing I was doing that was wrong. I was
Mm-hmm.
questioning it. I was questioning it and not believing that it was my reality. And that's what
Mm.
hindered me to start my spiritual journey, from whatever point, you know what I mean? Because I believe, like, if you're a spiritually gifted person like me, like, people can be, hindered from starting their actual journey in life in certain ways because of the misled information or things that's going to happen to you in the afterlife and or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I definitely can say about me and misled and stuff. One night, I was laying down
Mm-hmm.
and I started hearing voices in my head,
Mm.
and the voices got louder and louder and louder and louder. And then I turned on the TV and I'm like, who's that? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I'm sitting here like, like I'm thinking like there's people around me talking, but I know there's no one around me. So then
Mm.
I turn the lights back off. It starts again. Like it sounds like 1,000 whispers in a stadium, but at the same time, like the whole stadium is right next to your ears.
Mm.
That's how it sounds. And then one night it got really bad. Like it got really bad. I couldn't take it anymore and stuff. And I was gonna lose my freaking mind. Like I thought I was schizophrenic. I thought like I had
Mm.
like, a mental health issue. And I think that's what's misleading us today, because us humans, we like to put labels on things and say that we're right, or say that, oh, like there's nothing else in the universe. It's only us. You know what I mean? There's things like
Mm.
that goes
Mm-hmm.
on the road just because of, what we feel, what our egos make us feel as human beings.
Now riddle me this. What did you do in order for those voices to stop?
I
What
had to
occurred?
accept
Did
it.
you do a prayer, a ritual? Like what happened?
So what happened was I had to accept, that like, hey, this is my reality. These are actual, outside entities, spirits,
Uh-huh.
whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I went on Facebook and I was seeking it. I was taking a long drive one day, and I came home, sat in bed, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to dive into spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
So I go on Facebook. I try to find, any other page that, that's for me, any page that I may like or resonate with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually joined one. And I found one that I liked it. Um, Literally 15 to 30 minutes after, it
Mm-hmm.
was this woman named Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Vasquez, I believe her name is. I'll um I'll tag her name in a post after the video, having
Okay.
we're done and stuff like that, so you know who I'm talking about. So she contacted me one day, and she was saying like, hey, like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, I'm looking on my phone like this random person wants to talk to me. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it. But then it's like,
I feel you,
what?
man.
Yeah, what it is like, what do I got to lose with a conversation with a person?
Mm-hmm.
So I took the chance. We started texting and stuff, and we ended up talking on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like asking her and stuff like that. She was like, "Well, do you kind of know what I am?" And I was like, "Well, no, I was going to ask you about that." She's a very good medium and psychic, if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And I actually recommend it to you whenever you get time, or she has the time, But she's really good, and I think you should try her out if you want to experiment with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling me where like how spiritually gifted I am, and like she was telling me things that I was experiencing in my own life. And I never met this lady a day in my life. And I'm like, how did she know this? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So she was the one that opened the door for me and, gave me the experience. But what was most important was it was up to me to accept that experience and accept
Uh-huh.
what really happened. Because, there's some people out there that's like, they'll see something. Oh, no, that didn't happen. Oh, no, that's
Yeah,
not
that's right.
real. Oh,
Or
oh
they
no,
say it
you
was a
had looked it up.
coincidence.
Yeah, it's a coincidence, But people that I had done my readings for and I had did my things for, they know what's up. They know what's real, and they know that I'm no fake at all.
Okay, so let's deal with that because you said doing reading. So
Hmm.
what led up to that? Like how did you go about getting involved in that portion of it? Did you hear the voices again? Was it her? Did she give you some literature? Like how did you get into that?
with the voices and how they kind of like settle
No,
down
the
or how.
readings.
The readings. Okay, so the readings I actually started doing recently, maybe about like a few months ago to a year ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But what was hindering me was fear.
Uh-huh.
It all came down to fear, pretty much. It was more fear of like, hey, like what if, what if I mess up, or like what if I do something wrong, or tell them something that they're not supposed to, be told or anything. But the thing is, it's like I went in, I dived in, and I just did it. I did it like I did it before,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a great feeling. But what I had to tell, it was a guy I was talking to,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my very first reading. It was actually Virginia. Virginia was asking me like, "Hey, can you do a reading for someone?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him, and pretty much like I told her, I'm sorry, I told him the same thing that she pretty much told him, and how my abilities and far as that goes, I kind of I'm kind of told, and I also feel things. I can feel things, and I'm able to express it in words.
Mm-hmm. Now I have a question out there in the audience. Your auntie,
Mm-hmm.
she asked, how accurate were the readings?
Out of all the readings I did, I'm not gonna lie, I only did a few. 95%,
Okay.
about
And
80,
what
about
about the
90,
reading for
95.
you?
Majority of the readings that I got was from Virginia. She got them right all the time.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
I'm sorry. Correction. I had a I also had a reading before I met Virginia, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I found out that Shango was my my ancestrally guide.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my guys that attends and helps me, or he does what guy works, what guys do.
Mm-hmm. All
And
right. So how did you feel about that experience when you had that experience? And if you don't mind sharing with us the experience you had with Baba Shango, which is one of the Orisha. For those who do
mhm.
not know, look up Baba Shango. He's an Orisha in the Yoruba side of the house, and Ifa. All right, that's IFA. You can look up again Baba Shango, Shango, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys could take a look at Baba Shango. Look him up yourself. Okay, nephew, go ahead, please.
All right, so this is how it all started. So first, she told me that I had lived the four other life. No, I'm sorry, five. With this one being my fifth, but I lived four other lives. One was a shaman, and the other one was an African warrior, and the other one I'm not gonna disclose the information, due to the show restrictions. If you catch my drift. But
Yeah.
and I don't remember what the other one was, but I remember I had lit five, and she was like, "Well, you do have ancestrally, not ancestral. I'm sorry, like a a deity guide, pretty much in a way." She told
Mm.
me that I had a wolf, an owl, and she said Shango was there too. She noticed Shango. She didn't catch my jaguar, not Virginia, but this other lady I was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But and then she was like, yeah, she was seeing something about Yoruba, actually being a warrior in Yoruba, you know, one of my in my previous lifetimes, and she was saying like, yeah, it was like she keeps getting something like something Shango. She kept getting Shango, and I'm like, okay, can you go further? And she was like, no, like that's all I'm getting. I'm just getting Shango. And she was like, well, that could be your guide. And she even said I could even be Shango. You know, who knows at this point? But yeah, that's as far as that went and what she told me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
So, did you have any like encounters with any entities like while you were awakened or in your sleep state? Did you have any interaction with any of these entities, these extraterrestrials?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. I be having some weird dreams too, man. Like recently, I had a dream about like talking whales or sharks or or something like that, which is
Mm-hmm.
really weird. But far as like that, I had a dream of Shango twice, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and one with Jesus, but it was the Jesus in the paintings, which is why I'm confused.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, because like I don't really believe in that, but then like that Jesus appeared,
You
so
know
then I'm
what?
like,
Man, my wife, she said something about these entities that resemble the Paladi Amani. Who are these people? I had to call on my wife. She said the Pallades or something like that. I'm trying to figure out who those people are, but please keep talking because she gave me a name of a group of these entities that she told me about.
hmm. So the dream about I had about Shango, we were just like talking in this garden. I was like walking in like a big tall grass
That's
field
it, the Palladians.
of Palladians.
You ever heard of them before, nephew?
Yeah, I actually was told that I look like an Arcturian, which is funny because of my head and the chin line and
Okay, so please continue your story.
okay. So far as that, yeah, I was walking through this big grass tall field and whatever whatnot, and then there was this man, broad man, bald, but he had like all this stuff around his neck, like beads or like these big balls or something like that. That was like connected all together, and
Mm-hmm.
he was wearing it like a necklace, and he was telling me some information about me and my purposes on earth and some of the things that I may go through and stuff. He wasn't like although Pacific, he was like kind of vague in a way, kind of
Mm-hmm.
quick. And next thing you know, like I woke up just like that.
Mm-hmm.
The dream about the white Jesus or Jesus, I don't mean to be, just we know that because some
It's
people
all
believe
good,
in
man.
yeah,
It's
some
all
people
good.
believe in a black Jesus or white Jesus or whatever whatnot, but the Jesus that's in the paintings,
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream about him. We were like in this big glass room, and it was me, him, and several other people, and I'm standing right next to the glass. I had no tendency on moving because as of like right now, to be honest, like I'm kind of like struggling um with like to be honest with like faith or like understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of been hard on me recently, but like I'm getting through it, but time's gonna reveal it,
Mm-hmm.
and as time goes on and stuff. But I
Thank you
was
for sharing that though, because some people don't understand. I appreciate you being transparent
hmm
because some people look at us as spiritual leaders, thought leaders, and think like we don't go through nothing, like we just got it all
hmm
figured out.
right.
When we do have, our moments in our life because we still are dealing with our human nature here on this earth. So, thank you so much for being honest about that, nephew. Please continue.
All right. So I was like standing in one little spot. I didn't want to move because I want nothing to do. And I was pretty much like yelling and asking him, like why did you put me through all the stuff that that you put me through, knowing that I wouldn't, that nobody in the world would have wanted to gone through it or, feel the pain or whatever whatnot. He pretty much just said it was because I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to sit there and think like you had to,
Mm.
because we have a tendency of thinking like, yeah, there's source, big, source creator God, and he has all the power or whatever he wants to have at his disposal. He can have it. And I was more in a mindset of thinking like that, like you're all powerful
Mm-hmm.
being. Why do you need me to, you know, go through all that stuff? But going through everything that I went through and experiencing and everything that I've been thinking about, it was pretty much, just for so much as for me to evolve
Mm-hmm.
as a person, and for me to gain strength and to have that faith that like everything's gonna be all right, and have that knowledge and experience to get through a lot of things that can cause me trouble in life, or things I may not understand, or I know what to do when things get hard.
Mm-hmm. Now I have a question for you, nephew. How
Mm-hmm.
how did you, because you're so open with your spirituality now. You know, you have a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. For those who don't know, there's this information right there. It's been there on the banner throughout the duration of this video here. You can find him Peace of Mind podcast. He's on Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook. Right. So how did you go from being this person that is religious, and now you're spiritual, you're open, so talk, like, how did you get yourself to
Mm-hmm.
this point where you don't hide your beliefs or your views, because sometimes some people are so afraid of
Mm-hmm.
offending somebody or losing friends or people thinking that they're crazy. So if you would please share that with us, and tell us about, how did you get yourself to this point where you're so open, and how you're so bold and courageous now
Mm-hmm.
with your faith.
So that's the one thing, we think about the majority of the time. We think about what other people think. We try to do things to impress certain people or try to fit in certain groups. Me, I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm a believer where kind of like your your spirit animal kind of aligns with the type of being that you actually will be, or like how I'm sorry, how your behavior is or whatever, whatnot. I don't know, but it just seems for me and my spirit animal, it just seems to link. But I'm not a type of person that's like afraid to do or speak what's on my mind. And that's the thing, we are so worried about what other people think and what they might say or what they might think of us. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as your question, I started I want to say Catholic, and what made me change was I wanted to be a different and better person, and whether that includes of me, making my I don't know, like starting over on life somehow, or like making new changes in ways,
Mm-hmm.
or whether if it's my religion or whatever it was. But
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you, it was more of like the physical stuff that I was feeling inside of me. I
Hmm.
was kind of feeling more things inside of me, and that was kind of more like, you know, like I know I'm not, ordinary. I'm not normal. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And that's what
Okay.
I was feeling that, and
Mm-hmm.
what helped me get through that. It's kind of hard to explain.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Um,
Take your time, and get your thoughts together. It's okay. We definitely love to hear it, because I know some people want to know this as well. Me coming from
yeah.
religion to spirituality, it
Well,
was a wrestle for me too. So I know
okay.
somebody
I'll
definitely
tell
want to hear what
you.
you got to say.
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you in order on how it on how I found out. So first thing was the voices. And one of these days, like I tried talking to the voices and actually spoke back to me. And I asked it a few questions, and it was replying and everything whatnot. So one of these days, it told me to go talk to somebody. Excuse me. It told one of the voices told me to go talk to somebody, and I went and I talked to them and stuff like that. And it was pretty much more of like, hey, I have a message from Spirit. Would you like to, receive, or Danny, or no, or would you like it or not? You know what I mean? So
I
I had to
do.
actually, yeah. So pretty much that's kind of more of like, you know, you kind of have to ask that because it's kind of more of like a free will type of thing
Mm-hmm.
in a way. You can't just like like and just in the spirit on them or whatever whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
one of these days I had to tell somebody like, hey, you have to stop doing this. You have to stop doing these cars, or stop doing this. It's not working for you. Try
Mm-hmm.
something different, and then maybe come back to it, and then you'll get a better understanding of it.
Yes,
And then
indeed.
the other one, what was the next one before that? Or after that, I'm sorry, man.
The question?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you talking about the question?
No.
Okay.
Wait, wait. I'm sorry, Uncle. My bad. I ain't gonna hold you. Me being live on this platform making me kind of nervous. I don't I don't know if you can tell, but I don't really do stuff like this. It kind of got me nervous. I ain't gonna hold you, but
Nah, you all right. You all right. It's okay. This is how you do it, and the more you do
yeah,
it,
yeah,
you
you
get
get
used
used
to
to it.
doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so let me read a comment from here on Instagram. What's good, Instagram family? EY Paleo Movement. What's up, Vibe Tribe? Brother Jay Bird, for real. He said, I believe it's the letting go of the lie and learning the truth within your truth. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I love that right there, man. That's absolutely phenomenal. Because what I found out is, and nephew, I want you to be able to touch on this too, because you said you had an
Mhm.
experience as well. We were told that when you interact with the ancestors, it's demonic, and all these negative things are supposed to happen to you. Well, from my personal experience, they love me. They surrounded me. I
Mhm.
felt so much overwhelmed in love because when you're in the spiritual realm, when you're sleeping and you're in the astral world, you're in the spiritual realm, it's more intense there. The
Yeah.
feeling is more intense there. And so when a gungun, which those who don't know what that means, Yoruba for your ancestors, you know what I'm saying? When a gungun came to me, it was nothing but love. In fact, they started speaking to me in our language, and I started speaking back to them in our language. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, like where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, like I felt the energy like coming up through me and then coming out of me. And then we started communicating, and it was like I was speaking in English and like they would speak, but they was actually talking to me in our ancient tongue. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so they just loved me and surrounded me and embraced me and happened to me more than one time. So if you would, because you told me that you had an experience with the ancestor too. So if you would
Mhm.
please share that with us, and then thereafter, tell us like some things the lies that you were told, but then you found out the truth.
Okay. All right. Most definitely. So one of my ancestors I have met was Shango, and what other ancestor have I met? Mansa. What? What? No. 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 I'm sorry. Correction. Correction. Mansa's not my ancestor. I just look like him a little bit. I was told.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
that
but
picture. Yeah, I seen that picture. He said,
but primarily the only ancestors that I know that I met for sure was Shango, because I don't know any other of my other spiritual ancestors besides him. He seems like to be the only one besides all my other guides. But we were in a field, and then we met and we talked a little bit, and then in the rest of the dream I was walking back to my little my little spot wherever I was in my dream, and then coming over this road, right? It's like a road, like a dirt road, and it's this dude, and he's walking with female warriors, and the dude stops and he approaches me, and he talks in like a little bit. He talks, I don't know. It was like a different language. I couldn't really understand it. And then he
hmm,
went inside this building, right? And
hmm.
then these, his warriors were just sitting there, and I guess I had got too close, and one of them had shield bashed me or whatever and whatnot. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like, what was that? Like, I'm not with none of that. Like, and then like she tried like pointing her little spear at me, and I'm like, I'm like, listen, like I'm not with no like put my hands on no female, but I'm not gonna let you put no spirit in my face, regardless of where we at. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. See, that's that
And
word. See, that's the saying go.
yeah, and then she tried me. I ain't gonna hold you. Like I never had no type of sword training or anything like that, but I was able to defeat her. I ain't kill her, but you know what I mean. I got her to yield.
Your Baba, he said, "You're doing great, son."
Thank you, Dad. I ain't gonna hold you now. I'm nervous as hell. I can't even talk on this thing.
It's all good, man. It's all good. You know, we'll appreciate you for coming on and sharing what you shared. You know, and so being that we get ready to close, if you would, you know, share some thoughts with some people. You know, just those
Mm-hmm.
for those who coming from religious, you know, from religiosity to spirituality. You know, give them some words of encouragement. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I didn't tell you about the
that would
other
be a
part yet.
blessing. Hmm?
Okay, cool. I was saying I didn't touch upon the other question on
No, go ahead, go
the
ahead, go ahead. You
okay,
can touch
okay.
on that first. You can touch on
Okay,
that
cool.
first.
So the information that I found out, pretty much about the past religion that I believed in, like pretty much hell doesn't exist. If you think about it, if you kind of think about it, what will be worse? You burning eternity or quote unquote eternity in hell? Now, uncle, you tell me, you've probably felt pain before, all right?
Oh yeah,
When have you never thought, you was feeling pain, you know, forever, or like it been like a long time or whatever, whatnot, but eventually it passed, right?
that's true.
So I would say, this is what I got to say to kind of change your minds. What's kind of worse? You more burning in hell eternity or being put on fire, set on fire forever, whatever you want to, call it or make up, or
Hmm.
would you rather have to come here and do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you get it right? What is worse?
That's hell right there.
Exactly. If you know God, a creator, source, whatever you want to call him, is all loving, you know, and he believe in forgiveness. Why would you think he would send you to hell if there's other ways with him having all the other power that he has? Why would you think that would be the only and one way, to fix things
Hmm.
or to make you act right a certain way? If people have to think about it. Like if their child was to mess up, what do they do? Some people, some kids might get whoopings. I was one of them. Got my butt. I got my butt whooped a few times,
I
but
was too. I
but
was too.
but at the end of the day, like they're your parents. They love you. They're gonna give you as much chances as you need to keep progressing and making good decisions in your life.
Fact.
But far as
Loving parent definitely would
doing
do that.
right, far as like doing something that you may be afraid of or what people think, I'll have to say like straightforward. Just do it. Just do it and just experiment with it. Just experiment with it, and if it fails, then it fails. You can always try again later, or do anything else. But I don't mean like it's not meant to be for you to be led on your journey to do or anything like that. And as far as other people and what they think, you have to let them think.
Mm.
I bet you people may think that I'm crazy and like not that I like put like all of the details in this podcast. Maybe some other time when I kind of get used to it, I'm kind of feeling a little bit more. We can touch upon it again or whatever whatnot.
Okay,
But
sure.
people that know that I'm spiritually gifted knows that I'm spiritually gifted. They know that I'm not crazy, because I already have proved it to them.
Hmm.
So I'm it's like I was telling you before, like anything can happen to anybody, and then it can be like, oh nah, that didn't happen. Oh nah, you was looking this up, or no, or you had to do something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you took it upon yourself to do the research on like anything that they cannot believe,
Hmm.
they're gonna believe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true indeed. You know what I'm saying? And that's good advice, man. You know, and again, nephew, I thank you so much for, coming on and having the courage, for you to come on and be, bold enough to come and to share your experience. And I love what you talk about. First of all, for those of us who are African, You know, that's not even, hell is not even an African concept. You know, linguistically is not African. You know what I'm saying? You look it up, it goes back to Gehenna. You know, Gehenna, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, a lot of those teachings come from, you know, the Roman side of the house, the Greek side of the
Right.
house. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of those things African people initially didn't even believe in. You know what I'm saying? And when those who want to source, you know, that religion back to Africa, you know what I'm saying? Bottom line is we didn't come over here, you know,
Right.
as that. You know, and that's what people fail to understand. Like, you can try to justify all day long about, oh, well, it came from Africa. Well, what we know as that religion today is not the way it originally started. You know,
Right.
that African people, we were taken, a majority of us was taken from the west coast of Africa anyway.
Mhm.
You know, so when you do your research, for those who do their research, you'll see most of us from West Africa, we subscribe to being spiritual people. We did not come
Mhm.
over here. It was imposed on us. You know what I'm saying? And it was a story about Shaka Zulu where they said
Mhm.
if he doesn't turn and start following after their religion, that you know he was going to burn forever. And according to the story, Shaka Zulu said, "Well, in our land we eat fire."
Mhm.
Shaka said, "In our land we eat fire." So with that being said, you know, we eat fire. That, and I'm gonna leave it on that note. We eat fire.
Mhm.
We not worried about that, man. So, hey, once again, nephew, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, family, thank you all for tuning in. Please support my nephew. Go here to his podcast. Again, he's just starting out. Please show him some love. You know, Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook. It's called Peace of Mind Podcast. Peace of Mind Podcast. Okay, so go check him out. Hey, sis, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's my good sister right there. And to my beautiful queen, thank you for your love and support. Please tune in on this Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, we're going to be live. And we got a very, very, very good lesson coming for you all on this week. Okay, you know, we're going to deal with uh, spiritual decolonization. That's what we're going to be talking about on this week. Okay, again, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be talking about the decolonization, spiritual decolonization. You know, we have to get rid of this human supremacy. Okay, and we're going to deal with that. I know some of you may not even heard of that term before. All right, but hey, my wife, you know what I'm saying? She's going to be on the program too. We're going to be tag teaming. We're going to get it in. It's going to be a series. Okay, and we're going to dig in deep. Okay, because we have to debunk these lies. Okay, that we've been taught. And
Mhm.
again, humanity overall. Humanity is not just a skin thing. It's not just an ethnicity thing. Let me be
Mhm.
clear. This is a humanitarian movement to set humanity free from the lies. We have all been lied to. I'm going to say it again. We have all been lied to. Okay. And we all have to be set free as society. Okay. From these brainwashed theories. Okay. And ideologies that we have been taught that is keeping all of us as human beings from tapping into our divinity. Okay. So we can walk in power and we can truly be free. All right. So again, tune in. Okay, this Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, for the spiritual decolonization series that we're going to kick off. You don't want to miss it. For those who want to go to a higher level spiritually, this is for you. Okay, so make sure you share, like, invite, tag. We're going to be going in. All right. Those of you on Instagram, thank you so much for tuning in as well. We greatly appreciate y'all. You have a blessed rest of your evening, and may your week be the same. Peace. Those of you on Facebook, YouTube, likewise. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and love. We out.